If you're a Republican voter, I sincerely hope the person you love most gets a surprise attack of diabetes.
Hey guys, Brad here, and welcome back to another video where I take on some of the craziest TikToks from around the Clock app. If you're new here, do consider subscribing. I take on all the craziest things from around the internet, including within the LGBT community, from the perspective of a center-right, moderate gay man. If you get a kick out of this video, do like, comment, yada yada yada. And now, let's see what TikTok has for us today.
If you're right wing, I just want to let you know that physically, mentally, spiritually, I truly believe that I am better than you. I say this with the bottom of my heart. When you go into my videos saying that I'm wrong, I'm not thinking, could I be wrong? I'm thinking, why is somebody lesser than me trying to talk to me right now? What's my definition of right wing? I consider anybody who supports capitalism in any of its form to be right wing. I ain't new to this. Other people went into content creation because they were inspired by a YouTuber or something. I got inspired by internet arguments. I came to my political ideology because of internet arguments. I came to my political ideology because I realized this was the one that was unstoppable. You can't tell me I'm wrong. I think I'm better than you.
Wow. Well, points for honesty, I guess. But the lack of intellectual humility here is honestly astounding. I'm center-right politically, but I certainly don't believe that the people who are on the left are inferior or subhuman compared to me in any way. And if they critique me or offer an argument against something I said, I do try. I'm not perfect, right? I'm just a person. I can be as flawed or close-minded as anyone sometimes, but I do try to actually listen and then maybe argue against the point that they made and explain why I think they're wrong, or maybe not, and maybe actually listen and notice that I have gotten something wrong and I've made a mistake. It does happen. I know. My loyal followers will be surprised, but even I'm not perfect. It's just crazy to me to see somebody this young think they have the entire world figured out and that everyone who doesn't share their worldview is inferior. That's a dangerous way to view your political opponents. Some of the worst things throughout human history have happened when people start viewing other groups of people as subhuman or inferior. It's also hilarious and bizarre that he believes anyone who defends capitalism in any form is right-wing. By that logic, the vast majority of America is right-wing, according to the infinite wisdom of Polumbo the TikToker, and inferior to his superior intellect. Meanwhile, I've seen his actual work, and he doesn't even have a grasp of basic economics and what terms like capitalism even mean. So it's bad to be intellectually arrogant no matter who you are, but it's particularly rich coming from someone with such a tenuous grasp on the subject matter he speaks on. Up next, this one's a wild ride, y'all.
Sometimes I forget how radical I am until I get around people that aren't as radical as me, because, like, I'll be saying something that's just, like, very basic to me. Like, I will literally look at someone and be like, yeah, the police are an institution built on racism that are that's only job is to enforce the laws that protect the property rights of rich people and that allows poor people to stay poor and rich people to just keep hoarding their wealth. And they will look at me like I just said the sky is pink. Like, they're like, and I'm just like, bro, these are just like factual things. Like, look it up. Like, it's like, I ain't even gotten to the good stuff, bro.
Hold up. Are this TikToker's pronouns actually he/it? I'm hoping that's a joke or like a troll thing, because if that's actually true, then I don't know what to say anymore, y'all. You're literally dehumanizing and objectifying yourself? As far as the weird rant about the police, yeah, I'm not surprised that people look at you like you're a little bit cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs when you say stuff like this, because it doesn't make a lot of sense. I do believe that there are systemic issues, systemic racial issues with the US policing system, in particular the disproportionate way that the war on drugs is enforced against minority communities. But it's just totally untrue that the police only exist to protect rich people's property and that that's all they do. Even so, actually, It is even in everyone's best interest for the police to protect rich people's property or capitalists' property. We saw this in 2020 when police largely stood down in liberal cities as Black Lives Matter activists and other people just taking advantage rioted and looted and destroyed stores and retail enterprises in many low-income and minority neighborhoods. The people worst hit by that were actually the residents of those neighborhoods whose stores they relied on were destroyed, leaving them unable to get groceries or medicine or having to travel long distances to fill prescriptions. And then not all the stores got rebuilt. And for the ones that did, their property insurance rates skyrocketed, which meant higher prices for all the people that live there. So the police enforcing the property rights of rich people is not actually a bad thing. And of course, it's simply not all they do. They also enforce the property rights of everyone and are supposed to protect the person as well, stopping violence, stopping other forms of crime, which they don't always do an amazing job of, but at least do sometimes. The funny thing is that many low-income and minority communities, when you actually poll them and ask them what they want more policing in their communities solving real crimes, not less. Other than those couple of pesky details, though, he/it is really spot on. Up next, this TikTok is absolutely unhinged.
If you're a Republican voter, I want you to listen real close. I sincerely hope that someone who you can't live without, who your life would fall apart if that person disappeared off the face of the earth. If you're a Republican voter, if you are a die-hard GOP voter, I sincerely hope the person you love most gets a surprise attack of diabetes. I hope it comes out of nowhere. I hope it slaps you upside the head so fast and so hard that it leaves you traumatized. Diabetes. If you had any idea how hard it is to get diabetes medicine on time, in the dosage you need, you have no idea what it's like. So for all of you Republican voters, I sincerely hope this Christmas season, my gift to you is a case of diabetes to the person you love most that comes out of nowhere. I hope one of you loses a limb to diabetes, because then you're going to understand just how inhumane your own citizen voting record really is, okay? That's who you are. Diabetes. I wish this upon Republican voters. I want you to learn firsthand just how bad you have made it for everybody else. You're going to, I wish this on you. I sincerely hope you get hit with diabetes. And I hope it's the person you love the most.
So I'm going to go out on a limb here and suggest, just humbly suggest, just in my opinion, that when you find yourself wishing illness on the people that disagree with you, you might not be the good guy. This really is so unhinged for a couple of reasons. One of which is that, this person's not even just wishing it on the Republican voter. They're wishing it on a random loved one of that voter who isn't even necessarily a Republican or conservative. So you're literally wishing sickness and illness and possible losing a limb on a random person who's done nothing wrong just to spite your political enemies. That's unhinged, babe. I mean, seek help. Seek therapy, please. That's not normal. You're not in a good place. Now, it sounds like this person is upset because Republicans have disagreed with Democrats who have tried to impose price controls on insulin, the medication that diabetics need. But that doesn't make them evil. Price controls actually often lead to shortages of the medication, so that wouldn't be great for diabetics either. And the approach taken by Biden and some other Democrats is to not actually impose price controls, but just force taxpayers to pay for it all beyond a certain price. That's not really saving people money because then we all just have to pay more taxes. prices. Now, there actually are some ways that Republicans could do a better job of standing for free markets and capitalism and making insulin more affordable. For one, the government currently makes it really difficult and slow to develop generic options for insulin, which would drastically bring the cost down. Two, they also heavily restrict our ability to bring in affordable insulin from places like Canada, which we really should be able to access, and for diabetics would be a huge help if they could get it at a lower price. They could also make it over the counter, at least after your first few appointments, because it adds a whole nother layer of expense to the process that diabetics have to get a prescription every time they need insulin. In all these ways, Republicans could very well still support free markets and capitalism and support people getting more affordable insulin, and I don't think it's unfair to critique them for having failed to offer good alternatives to the Democrats' big government solutions. But I do think it's unfair to wish illness and sickness and possible death on random people because not even them, but their loved ones may vote differently than you. That's kind of psychotic, babe. Up next, more commie TikTokers fail to understand basic economics.
Asking if baristas should make as much money as doctors is just a more polite way of asking if baristas should have the same quality of life as physicians, as doctors. Because framing it to make it just about money is nicer than just openly admitting that some people should have better lifestyles than others, simply because their job is X. And before you say it, like, yeah, I know that we need incentives for people to do certain jobs, but especially with healthcare where it's literally life and death, I would hope that the incentive for people to go into those fields is not because of the pay. I would hope that the pay is just kind of seen as a bonus and that this is truly their passion, considering that they're going to have their patients' lives in their hands.
Communist TikTok really is kind of a trip, y'all. It really is. In reality, it makes a lot of sense that people are willing to pay doctors more than baristas. And after all, the value of your labor is not whatever you think or hope that, or feel that it should be. It's what other people are willing to pay to obtain it. And it makes sense that they'd be willing to pay more for a doctor than for a barista because the service they're providing is exponentially more valuable than your ability to make my oat milk latte. They're also much harder to replace because just about anybody can learn to become a barista in a matter of weeks, but not everybody could be a doctor. It requires a degree of academic ability and intellectual ability and different personal skills and a long, long time and a lot of hard work to become one as well. I can say this, given that my boyfriend is a doctor and is in his residency, people don't quite understand just how many years it takes to become a doctor. It's not just medical school on top of your undergrad, it's also a lengthy residency during which you are paid much less than an actual full doctor, and oftentimes a fellowship after your residency, all before you can become a doctor. So we're talking a more than 10+ year process to become a doctor. Full of hard work, tons of studying, and a crazy schedule. The idea that people are going to go through all that just because they want to help people out of the goodness of their heart and they have a passion for medicine is so naive, I have a hard time even putting it into words. Newsflash, cupcake. If it paid the same as working at Starbucks, not many people would be willing to go through all that, even if they did want to be a doctor and help people. It's just too much. We also need more doctors and more health professionals in the future, a lot more than we need more baristas. The health sector is expected to grow enormously in this country, and we need more people to work in it. Hence why those high salaries encourage people to go into that field when they could do any number of things. It's actually essential and important in our economy, even if it hurts your feelings. Of course, this person and other commie TikTokers probably just think that everybody should be paid $1,000 an hour and we can all live in a communist utopia because scarcity and rational self-interest don't really exist. And I swear, every time I dip into communist TikTok, I get dumber. These people make me lose brain cells. All right, y'all, that's all the TikToks I can handle in one sitting without incurring permanent brain damage. If you enjoyed this video, do drop a like, comment with your thoughts, and consider subscribing. This channel's growing really fast, and I would love to have you be a part of this community. And with that, I'll see you all in my next video. But if you want more of me reacting to insane stuff from TikTok, check out some of my other recent videos here and here to keep up watching me lose brain cells for your enjoyment.